Mirai. It was directed by Mamoru Hosoda, who directed Wolf Children, The Girl Who Left Her Time, and Digimon the movie. Yes, of all movies. Including some other ones. You can look up his IMDb if you'd like. Formerly of Toei Animation. And he tells a story that's a simple story, but also deep with some good emotion of a young boy named Kun. There are going to be spoilers pretty soon after this. I'll just keep it spoiler free for right now. I'll tell you whether you should go see it. But a young boy named Kun who is living with his parents. They have a dog. It's a nice area. There's this open garden with this nice tree, very picturesque. In Japan, the grandparents are close. The grandparents come over and help out. The grandma will, babysit Kun at times. And we open with Kun being babysat by the grandmother. And the grandmother suddenly says, Kun are, at 4 years old, like any 4-year-old, he'd play with his toys and everything and have difficulty picking them up. The grandmother says, pick up your toys. Your mother's going to be home. Your parents are going to be home. And Kun's all excited. We don't know why yet. And then we find out that the dad's going to pick up the mother who was I'm sure the dad was there, but suddenly Kun has a younger sister, has a baby sister. So suddenly he's not an only child, and the love that he felt is now being spread to 2 people. And at first he handles it, and then when he finds out he's not getting paid attention to like he used to, like any young child, they will lash out. Throw their toys, tell their parents they hate them. This kind of stuff, want to get at the sister. I mean, not necessarily in a violent way. I mean, he didn't mean it mean-spirited, but lashing out like any young mind would when you don't understand what's happening in the world around you. Your world isn't seemingly shattered, it's just being reshaped. You see all this love that you got as a young child and up till now, and suddenly your sister, this new life is getting that love and you can't handle it. And it's not that the parents don't love them. They do. They're just spraying it because it's important to raise children right from the very early age, from when they're an infant all the way up to when they're an adult. From there, Kun is basically lashing out a whole bunch, and later on ends up outside in the garden, and finds out that this garden is a bit enchanted and is taking him to various places where he can learn life lessons, whether it's people from the future, people from the current, people from the present, or people even from the past, people from his family. And there was some really, really fantastic animation. I'm going to keep that spoiler-free right there, but there's really some fantastic animation and some really good storytelling, some really good emotional depth, despite being a simple story. This really had a lot of good elements to it. There were times I would look at the city landscape and almost think I'm just looking at a painting, and a really detailed painting. So the animators that worked on this were absolutely tremendous. I mean, absolutely marvelous. I love the art style. I'm a fan of some anime movies, not all of them. I own a few, like Paprika, Howl's Moving Castle, and Princess Mononoke. And Princess Mononoke is probably my favorite anime movie of the last 25 years. And there's been plenty of others, do not get me wrong. And there are some good elements in this that might remind you of some of those. This reminds me a little bit of Little Nemo Adventures in Slumberland. Just maybe without all the fantastic whimsy, but a little bit of it. I mean, this wasn't quite as out there, but it was. It was told from the mind of a child. I mean, Nemo was older than Kun is, but still, those are kind of similarities I found. I did love Little Nemo, so that kind of made me smile a bit thinking about it. And what was great is just watching the bond between this family grow and grow, despite how Kun is not handling this world, or, this new world and everything. So this is where I'm going to basically start with spoilers. So should you go see this movie? Absolutely. You should 100% go see this movie. But 3, 2, 1, and go. So basically the idea is Kun ends up seeing all these, all these people one by one in this enchanted garden. At first, he sees the dog in human form and figures out it's a dog when he has the squeaky toy that he throws at the dog and throws it, and suddenly the human is chasing after it. The human is trying to talk to him and say, hey, I had all their love and affection and everything, and then you came along. And when he said that, I was like, okay, it is a predictable movie. I mean, I'm not here to say it threw out anything, oh God, anything like crazy. But it was a really, really enjoyable movie. From there, he meets his sister from the future, from a different time period. her telling him, hey, you know, you can't be mean to me. You got to raise me. You got to help raise me right. You can't hate me. Your mother, your parents, the mom and dad don't hate you. They just love both of us. And it takes a while for Kun to admit that. Even though he seems to learn some lessons like any 4-year-old, he's still going to want things his way. And that's the one thing about this story. It's really told damn well. It is told very, very well, actually. I was really impressed with how they told this. From the times where Kun is like, you know, he threatens to run away, and he ends up like, you know, talking to his great-grandfather. And he ends up talking to a whole bunch of people. I mean, he talks to a ton of people from his past. And, you know, or like, you know, before he was even born, like people from his family. Learning all these lessons and learning how, like, some behaviors have passed on. Like how his mother used to be destructive and throw her toys around and lash out because she wasn't loved as much because she had a younger brother. And how she was a terror towards the grandmother, you know, her mother. So everything's passed on. So the mother realizes she loses her temper the same way her mother lost her temper towards her. So it's a vicious cycle, but it's also a cycle of love. It's not that the grandparents, it's not that the grandparents didn't love their children. It's not that they don't love their grandchildren. Everybody just raises people the best they can. There is no life lesson and no booklet on how to raise children. And I think that's pretty much the main message of this. Yes, it's told with some fantastical whimsy and stuff like that and some crazy fantasy stuff. Like a really gorgeous shot, like near, or sequence near the end, or like, you know, towards the end, with some fish and everything. And Kun ended up, like, you know, swimming through this one point where he ends up getting lost in, you know, another, like, a bit of a desolate fantasy land. And then he meets his older self. And he has to find out that, hey, life's going to be okay. You have to, you know, take things as they come. Even as a 4-year-old, that may be difficult. But if you learn, if you go on this trip that you're going to go on, you will, you know, it'll be a summer vacation you may not, that you'll remember for the rest of your life. You have to love your sister. You have to accept that things are what they are and enjoy life. And that's really what it is. You know, have fun as a child, because eventually you get older and that childlike innocence is gone. And then maybe you will raise you'll have children and raise them right. And some of those things are implied and that kind of stuff. Some of these lessons are told through very little dialogue. They're more inferred. And Kun does eventually learn the life lesson that he needs to be a big brother to his sister. And the reason I'm a little bit emotional about it is because I have a younger sister, and it got to me. The ending sequence has got to me. The bottom line is Kun does learn how to love his sister and realize that life's not all bad. His parents do love him and that kind of stuff. There is a lot of really good things to enjoy about this, from the opening fantastic sequence in the Enchanted Garden to the time when he meets his great-grandfather, like back in, like, you know, just after the war, to meeting his mother at a younger time, to understanding all of this stuff and seeing how he can help grow, how even at 4 years old, how life will go on. He can help with his younger sister, and if he's less of a terror, if he realizes his parents do love him, then there you go, and that's really what it is about. So yeah, this is a damn good movie. It's really, really enjoyable. The animation's hard to describe. Just go see it. It is fun. If you don't get a chance to see it in theaters, I would say you're missing out, but you could just see it on Amazon, see it on Blu-ray, see it on Netflix whenever it's on. But it is really well worth seeing. Mirai is a lot of fun. And there's just some really, really good shit to it. There's some good comedy to it. And some really, really good animation. Is it the best animation I've ever seen? Absolutely not. I'm not saying any of it looks bad, but I've seen better animation in other movies. But everything's a different style. This is told through the mind of a child, and it works really, really well. And yeah, again, emotional. It is. And I mean, yeah, you guys can call me a fucking sap in the comments if you want, but I really found this movie to be pretty damn emotional and not perfect. I don't think there was anything in this movie, like not really a moment where I felt any huge element of danger, though the ending like 20 minutes until, like, you know, the very final scene or sequence was actually a little bit scary and would be scary for some children. There were some children that were a little bit upset. in the audience. I mean, fortunately, they were in the front row, more away from me. But children can enjoy this. Adults can enjoy this. This really is a damn fun movie. It's a fun movie. It's emotional. It's well told. And the voice acting, I did see the English dub version. I would actually like to see the Japanese version with English subtitles. I will hopefully maybe be able to see that. I might have to buy it at some point. But this was really, really good. And it's a simple story of parents just doing the best they can after how they were raised to raise their children right. And there's no blueprint on how to raise children. And yeah, it got to me, the thing with the big brother and the little sister. Because like I said, I got a little sister. And the age difference is actually kind of the same. But anyway, let me know what you guys thought. Did you guys see it? Did you guys think it was good? Let me know in the comments. I'm gonna give it an A-. An A-. It was pretty damn close to damn good. Not my favorite movie of the year, but pretty damn close. And there will be a poll up there, so please let me know what you thought of Mirai. And what are some of your favorite anime movies? Like, Japanese anime, this kind of stuff. Leave them in the comments. Let me know some ones that you would like me to review, and I will see if I can get to those. But anyway, like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. It's been real honesty with John Ritlin, and I will see you soon.